Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai, the name of His only begotten Son. The world ignored God and Jesus. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Stone who taught me this truth through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Baharakah Kodash. Salutations, peace, and love to the 144,000, the rest of the elect. Right? And also the men, women, and children whom the Lord has foreordained to be a part of the large multitude who will receive mercy at His coming and be delivered, from the four corners of the earth, This lesson is going to be, based on this article that you see here on screen, and I wanted to respond to it, I wanted to do a lesson on it, by pretty much, bringing out another example of the result of confusion, here in this, present world, and this confusion, of course, is being peddled, to the rest of the world by Mystery Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon, which is America, In the scriptures, America is referenced as, Mystery Babylon the Great, mother of harlots, and also referred to as the daughter of Babylon, which we're going to bring out, which means confusion, and this is another example of the fruit of that confusion, So let's get into it without further ado. So this is from Euronews.com. A cavity is not a vagina, right? So it says, transformer woman, right, refuse healthcare in France. So it says, I only treat real women. That's what French gynecologist Victor Akarian told a 26-year-old transformer, right, who he refused to treat in his clinic in the southwest of the country recently. The transformer, accompanied by her boyfriend, went to a gynecological appointment when, after minutes of waiting, the secretary told her, that the doctor had refused to see her, which is really a him. But anyways, I told her that I am not competent, but I can guide you. I can refer you to services that can better care for you. But after I said that, things went south. I thought I was being honest when I said it was my specialty. I don't know how to treat them, and I don't mind being called ignorant. Right? You're transphobic, the young woman reportedly shouted as she left the consulting room. According to the gynecologist, the patient began to insult his secretary, reacting violently to the refusal. Right? The woman's partner, still in shock, left a comment on the clinic's Google reviews complaining about what happened. The doctor replied with a message addressed to a gentleman claiming that he treated real women. Right? He justified himself by saying that he had no skills to treat men even if they have shaved their beards and come to tell my secretary that they have become a woman. Right? And if you jump down a little bit further, right, now they're saying, so this party here is saying that there's a controversy now raging in France, right? And transformer rights organizations from across Europe have come to the patient's defense. It is brutal to deny the right to health. It is a universal right that all citizens have, right? But here's the point. A cavity is not a classic vagina. Although gynecology is still associated with specialized care for women, it is not that simple anymore. Doctors claim that a lack of knowledge makes it difficult for them to treat transformer people because you don't have a vagina. Just because it's a cavity doesn't mean it's a classic vagina. Right? The doctor explains, admitting his lack of knowledge about transformers. The doctor claims that this person was the first transformer he had seen in his 30 years of practice. Right? And now they're saying since September 21, a conglomerate of 3 French universities have started providing training for trans healthcare. Right? So now they are trying to change what gynecology is. Right? So let me find it here to show you. Right? As more and more patients are coming, it is the responsibility of the country's health authorities to be aware of this and to take them into account so that they can deal with the problem. There is no recommendation for a transformer to have regular gynecological checkups unless she had a surgical problem related to the operation because she doesn't have a uterus or cervix, aka not a woman. However, Ravin said that transgender women can still have issues related to their surgery that require some kind of gynecological assessment. So it's important to have specialists with knowledge in this area, right? So pretty much, you see the confusion here, right? A man who has decided, he wants to be, the opposite gender and become a transformer, right, with a cavity in his lower abdomen, right, or pelvic area, I should say, that they think, is a vagina and wants to see a gynecologist. When really and truly a gynecologist has been trained medically, anatomically, right, to deal with the vagina, the cervix, and the uterus, all of which a transformer doesn't have. But he's receiving backlash because he refused to treat this patient. This is another perfect example of the confusion, that these things bring. There is no regard for truth anymore, right? Truth is now offensive and must now be altered, right? In order to accommodate, the delusions that are being peddled, as the new, form of truth. It's Romans 1:21, because that when they knew Yahweh, they glorified him not, as the Heavenly Father, the Most High, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart were darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like unto corruptible man, to birds, four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Wherefore Yahweh gave them up to uncleanness, to the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies among themselves. Right? And that's what's happening. On a physical level now, so it's not just the LG, the alphabet community. It's also now, people literally going through surgeries, right? To dishonor their own bodies, because really that's what you're doing when you're made, a particular, gender by the Heavenly Father, and you decide that, I feel as if, I should be the other one. You're dishonoring your body, right? And then leaving yourselves, with a lifetime of health complications, which no doctor is trained how to treat, really and truly, right? You're coming in with a cavity in your pelvic region, right? Expecting a gynecologist to treat you as if you have an actual anatomical vagina and uterus and cervix, right? And then when that doctor refuses, you lash out and say that person is, whatever phobic, right? Who changed the truth of Yahweh into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause Yahweh gave them up to vile affection, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another. Men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was me. Because a lot of these, what they don't talk about in the mainstream media is that a lot of these transformers develop such severe health complications that, they pretty much end up dying, committing suicide, trying to reverse the surgery, because it's not a natural thing, for a man to remove his reproductive parts and then carve out a cavity in his pelvic area, for another man to shove his rod there and pretend as if, that's a vagina, right? And even as they did not like to retain Yahweh in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, which is a backward mind, to do the things which are not convenient. This is not convenient, right? This is opening up yourselves to a lifetime of hurt, a lifetime of health complications that cannot be addressed. Habakkuk 1:4, therefore the law is slack and judgment doth never go forth, for the wicked does compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. So no, if you decide to, side with, truth and reality, you make yourself a prey, right? You are ostracized, you are quote unquote canceled, simply because you stand up for the truth and you speak out what is obvious and what is reality. If you refuse to accept the um, the delusions, of these people. Right? Isaiah 24 and verse 10, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. The reason I brought this out is because America is that city of confusion. The people are all confused. Right? Revelation 17 verse 4, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. This is speaking about America. This woman right here is speaking about America. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. If you look up that word, Babylon, right? Babylon, right? It says what? Confusion. And if you go to the root of it, it's of Hebrew origin, Babal, right? And it says what? Confusion, right? If you go to the root of even that, right, you get to mix, to mingle, to confuse, to confound, right? There is no separation anymore. Everything is just on a spectrum, and you can be whatever you want to be. There's no separation of concerns. There's no definition of really what is. The lines are being blurred. And if you can't have distinctions within society, distinctions of cultural and gender roles and stuff like that, then you lose order. And what you end up with is chaos, where different persons don't know what their role is in society or in the family, and they just assume any role, and there's no dependence, there's no order, there's just chaos and anarchy and confusion, right? So to mix, to mingle, to confuse, to confound, right? Let's just wrap here, because even though this happened in France, America is the one that has pushed it, throughout the world, This is in Nahum 3 and 4, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the welfare of the harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcraft. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will shew the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and I will set thee as a gazing stock. Right? So ultimately, the Lord is going to destroy, America. America is going to be burned, with thermonuclear fire, when this third war, kicks off in the right way. And our allies are also going to be destroyed, and be brought low. Because this ideology that's being pushed, the alphabet community, the transformers, it's just confusion, right? And you will, time and time again, you will see the fruits of this confusion, just like this example here, that has been brought out, where a transformer, right, is seeking gynecological assessment, even though they don't have a vagina or cervix or uterus, just a cavity, right? But no, they wanna say that gynecologists need to be trained now, in order to treat them. So pretty much redefining, what a gynecologist is, and warping and twisting the truth to accommodate the delusions of these people. So hopefully this lesson was, edifying, resorting to the spirit. Shalom.